You will hear a conversation between a woman and the receptionist of the Somerton Childcare Centre. Now, answer all questions from 1 to 10.
Good morning. You've reached Somerton Childcare Centre. This is Sarah speaking. How can I assist you today?
Hi, Sarah. I'm planning to visit your center with my children next weekend, and I'd like to get some information about your facilities and activities.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. First, let me give you our location. We're on North Hill, right opposite the supermarket. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. That's our old location. We're now opposite the toy factory, just down the road.
Got it. Is parking available there?
Absolutely. There's plenty of parking available, both in front of the center and in the overflow lot around the corner. You'll find it much easier than the old location, which had limited space.
That's a relief. What about entry fees?
Entry is actually free for everyone, and to make it even better, adults receive a complimentary drink. Some people think it's only coffee, but we offer tea, water, and even juice as options.
That's generous. Are there any new features or attractions at your center?
Oh yes, we've added a lot recently. There's a large slide, which we call the Wildcat. It's quite popular. It's bigger and steeper than our older slides, so it's a real hit. Then, we've introduced a mini golf area for children, complete with 5 themed courses.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Are there any other play areas?
Well, we still have the jungle gym and the arts and crafts corner, but those aren't new. There's also a sand pit, but it's currently under renovation. The slide and the golf courses are the main attractions we're highlighting this year.
Great. Are there any special requirements for kids who want to participate?
Yes, there are a few. First, all children must wear trousers. This is mainly for safety during activities like sliding or climbing. Shorts just aren't suitable.
Okay, that's good to know.
Oh, and every child must also wear socks. This is particularly important for the indoor play zones, as we don't allow barefoot play for hygiene reasons.
Got it. Anything else we need to prepare?
Yes, you'll need to bring a label with each child's name on it. We can provide labels at the center if you forget, but it's easier if you come prepared.
Sure, I can manage that. By the way, I'm also thinking of organizing a birthday party for my son. Do you have any packages for that?
Absolutely. Our birthday party packages are very popular. To book a party, you'll need at least 8 children. That's the minimum number of participants.
And what's included in the package?
The basic package includes food, drinks, and decorations. You can also add optional extras, like a cake or entertainment, say, a magician or a clown, for an additional fee.
That sounds nice. Do you cater for dietary restrictions?
Yes, we do. We have vegetarian and gluten-free options, and we can customize the menu further if needed. Just let us know in advance so we can make the necessary arrangements.
Perfect. Are there any discounts if we book early?
Actually, yes. If you book at least 2 weeks in advance, you'll get a 10% discount on the total package price. That applies to all parties booked for weekends.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for the detailed information.
You're welcome. Feel free to call back if you have any more questions, or you can visit our website for more details.
Will do. Thanks again.
That is the end of part 1.
Section 2. You'll hear a talk about the waste collection in Baltimore. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hi folks, my name is Loretta Johnston and I'm here from the Baltimore Department of Public Waste. Thank you for coming out to our community meeting tonight. I've got a few words to say about the waste collection here in Baltimore. First, there's the sorted collection bins themselves. They're made of sturdy, solid material, so none of your trash can seep out or puncture the bin. Also, since these things sit out on the curb overnight, rain or shine, they have to be waterproof. We can't have water getting up in it and filling up the bin. Remember to pay attention to which bin is which and sort your waste accordingly. You should have a blue or green bin for recyclable garbage, a yellow bin for unrecyclable garbage, and a red bin for toxic waste. Our city-wide waste management is divided into two services. The first is commercial waste collection, or trash collection from buildings. The majority of building waste is paper, which goes in the blue or green bins. You'll notice in your office buildings there are signs that warn you not to overfill these bins. All that paper adds up, and an overflowing bin is infinitely harder for collectors to carry to the truck and empty. Aside from paper, another large source of building waste is metals. Metals such as tin and aluminium can be put in the yellow recycle bins, but metals like lead and copper should be disposed of in the red bins. These heavy metals are harmful to the environment and exacerbate our city's existing pollution problem. That's about all the information you need for building waste. Moving on to the second service, household waste collection is probably what you primarily think of when you think of what we do here. Many of the same guidelines apply, the sorting is the same, etc. Please remember to keep garbage like kitchen waste in a plastic bag. It makes collection easier and lessens the abominable rotten trash smell.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
So, after we take your trash away, what happens to it? We take all the garbage to one of a number of garbage disposal plants, each of which is located in the middle of an open space of some sort. No one wants to have their home or office right next door to a waste disposal plant, right? Waste is collected and then disposed of once every 4 weeks. A lot of trash can build up in that time, so we're in the process of developing a plan to fund collection more frequently. Ideally, it would be collected weekly, but we will likely have to settle for bi-weekly. The garbage trucks make their rounds to clear the bins at night in order to avoid traffic. I'm sure you've seen how much waste your own household produces in a given week. Now imagine all the trash produced by all the households in Baltimore. It's a lot, right? It may surprise you that this amount is only marginal compared to commercial waste. Yep, the main waste producers are actually businesses, industrial facilities, retail and offices. Hard to believe humans produce that much waste, right? No wonder we have pollution problems. Anyway, after all incoming waste is sorted, recyclables are sent to a recycling plant, while garbage and toxic waste are transported to their respective areas of the plant for treatment. Items such as stones, which should not be disposed of in our bins, are separated out and discarded. Once the trash has undergone the treatment process, it is compacted and disposed of with all the other trash. And finally, when the landfill space is full, it is buried deep underground, and in time, something new is built on the land. That's everything about waste collection. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Section 3. You will hear two students talking about the moa with the lecturer. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Thank you all for coming here today to hear about the moa, a kind of animal which has been extinct for a long time. Well, first of all, we look at what the moa are. The moa are 9 species of flightless birds endemic to New Zealand. They were the dominant herbivores in New Zealand's forest, shrubland and subalpine ecosystems for thousands of years. But around 500 years ago, they all went extinct. When I mention extinct animals during ancient times, you may immediately think of dinosaurs, which disappeared around 66 million years ago. Fossils of dinosaurs, which we use to study, are large in number, but not many of those of moa remain, though both animals appeal to people today.
So, the moas sound more mysterious now. But sir, I've got a question about these flightless birds. How can we distinguish them from other birds?
That's a good question. Birds are commonly characterized by being warm-blooded, having feathers and wings, usually capable of flight, and laying eggs, while the flightless moa, until their extinction, were the largest birds in the world. Their heads are relatively small in relation to their bodies, and they are the only wingless birds lacking even the vestigial wings and substantial tailbones in their family.
That's impressive, but were they born to be like that? I mean, when they were chicks?
Yes, absolutely. So let's move on to the chicks. The eggs of moa were laid in nests and incubated for about 2 months. The chicks would be well developed upon hatching, and probably would be able to leave the nests to feed on their own almost immediately.
I've heard that the male moa are thought to have incubated the eggs. Is that true?
I think there is a possibility for that. I've read somewhere that the sex-specific DNA recovered from the outer surfaces of eggshells suggested that these eggs were likely to have been hatched by the male, but we still need to consult more. But I have a question. There has been some occasional speculation that the moa were still alive, because someone said they had caught sight of them in New Zealand in the late 19th century, or even the 20th. Do you think it's possible?
I'm not amazed by that, since that kind of thing has been claimed several times. But I find it funny, because no reliable evidence of moa tracks has ever been found, and experts still contend that moa survival is extremely unlikely.
So what was the reason for the moa's extinction? I wonder if it was global warming or some other factors related to their living environment.
Well, before the arrival of human settlers in New Zealand, the moa's only predator was the massive Haas eagle. Then the Maori arrived sometime before CE 1300, and all moa genera were soon driven to extinction by hunting. What a horrible thing.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now, listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
All right, now let's look at the features of some species of moa. The South Island giant moa may have been the tallest birds ever known, and the second tallest of the 9 moa species is the North Island giant moa, with the females being markedly larger than males, both in weight and height.
And I've heard that the smallest of the moa birds are the coastal moa. Is that right?
Yes, you were right. And have you heard about any other kind of moa before?
I know the crested moa. The eggs they laid may be larger than others.
As they mainly lived in the remote interior of the southern island, their fossils are rare or absent in archaeological sites, and no egg remains have yet been identified.
Are there any species of moa that have got more fossils?
Yes, of course. A considerable amount of remains of the stout-legged moa exist, due to the well-preserved properties of their habitat, Their skulls reveal relatively bad vision, a good sense of smell, and a very short bill. Then there is the eastern moa. They were remarkable in having very long and narrow windpipes, which probably enabled them to make louder, more resonant calls than those of other moa, and had the greatest vocal abilities, so they could communicate when they could not see each other in the forest or at night. They used a range of senses, apart from sound, in their search for food, such as their sense of smell and vision.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture related to how technology contributes to education. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40. Hello and welcome to today's seminar about education. Education is a lifelong process. There is no limit on when to start and stop, and we have been using technology so much these days in each and every sector of our lives, including education. Have we ever taken out a second to wonder if it's leaving a positive impact on our work, or it's just that we have been relying on it so much that we've become used to it? Earlier, there was a lot of debate about technology in education amongst the faculty at our school. Everyone had their own views. At first, some believed that the use of email between students and teachers made them interact with each other less, and this was not a good thing. But gradually, as technology was embraced by more educational institutes, they realized the importance of technology in education. Technology and education are a great combination if used together with a right reason and vision. Moreover, there is a strong relationship with the local economy when it comes to the effectiveness of the use of IT in education. In the more developed areas, the schools and institutions have better access to more advanced technology, and the teachers are better trained to use the technology to improve the quality of their classes. In contrast, in some less developed regions and remote areas where technology is not so common, the effectiveness can't be guaranteed. However, wherever they are, the most common example for teachers using technology in education is the usage of computers in their teaching methods. In most classrooms, you can see teachers using computers to present teaching notes and other materials. This year, the IT School of Westbrook University has implemented a brand new education mode. Since its implementation, both teachers and students have been praising this new mode. It involves a kind of software which allows students, as well as teachers, to talk and discuss with each other more easily, and they said they enjoy this way of communication. What's more, the mode offers students a channel to post any work that they are proud of, whether it's a nice photograph that they take, a case study they do, a song they record, or even just a great idea they have. So it gives them a chance to showcase their strength and build up their confidence. Many students use this feature to show the best of themselves. It also provides students an opportunity to choose what they learn on the internet, so they no longer have to sit in the classroom listening to something they are bored with. And they don't have to wait all night trying to register for their favorite elective courses. Compared with the traditional platform, it is more flexible. The open source which the new mode provides is free for students to use when they are trying to look up for online materials for their papers or researches, and the data will not easily be found on the internet because only registered users have access to the database. By the way, all the materials are original works of teachers or scholars, so there is no need to worry about the quality of the content. And with the overwhelming amount of unwanted information on the internet, this mode gives students a new search engine they can use on campus. So information like advertisements and skeptical sources will be filtered easily. This is a perfect example of new solutions to new problems. Apart from that, students can arrange their daily activities and improve their time management skills by simply ticking the boxes in the timetable online. They can set up their own starting time and their deadline for each assignment. Based on statistics, the use of this function has a positive effect on the students who constantly procrastinate. By the end of the first term, the number of students who asked for extension for their papers had decreased by 10%, which was quite an achievement. Another feature that seems very creative to me is that students can help people who have questions or problems relating to their field of studies on a special platform. They can even have some income by providing people with good solutions. So this new mode is making the most of the IT. That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.